Welcome to Lesson 87, Finding Unknown Factors. Our objective is I can solve factor problems by eliminating. So, here's our battle for x. You've probably seen me talk about this before. You break your barriers, you combine your like enemies, you isolate your enemies, and then you eliminate your enemies. Well, today we're just going to be looking at this last step. We're going to be looking at eliminating our enemies, or getting down to one variable. We can think of every equation like a scale, with the two sides separated by an equal sign. So I've got my scale here, and I've got my equal sign in the middle. Let's look at our first equation. 2x is equal to 30. Well, I want to get down to 1x. So what I need to do is I need to divide both sides by 30. The reason why I divide by 2 is because 2 is what it's attached to the x. And I need to do it to both sides because what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side in order for them to balance. So I divide both sides by 2, and on the left side I'll get x, and on the right side 30 divided by 2 is 15. So now I know that x is equal to 15, and we're all balanced, so we're good to go. Let's take a look at one without the picture. So we want to solve for a mixed number. So what I'm going to do here in my battle for x, I want to divide both sides by 5. And what I want to do is if I divide something to one side, I have to do it to the other side. If I do something to one side of the equation, I have to do it to the other side. Those 5s will cancel out, and I'll be left with n is equal to 21/5. But I don't want an improper fraction. The question asks for a mixed number. So I'm going to say, well, I can pull out 4 5s, and I'll be left with 1/5 left over. So I'll say that n is equal to 4 1/5. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's do it together. So I want to solve for a mixed number. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. And I'll get that w is equal to 21/6. When I do that, I know that I can take 3/6 out, and I'll be left with 3/6 left over. One last step, I know that I can reduce 3/6 down to 1/2. So w is equal to 3 1/2. Let me make sure I put the w in my answer. Okay, let's try this one together. This time we want to solve for a decimal. Now I have a decimal attached to my variable, so I'm going to divide both sides by whatever's attached to my variable. And on the left side now I just have m. On the right side, let's see, 0.048 divided by 0.6 is 0.08. And since 0.08 is certainly a decimal, I'm done. Okay, go ahead and try this one on your own. Pause the video, and I'll see you in a second. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's do it together. So we want to solve for a decimal, which means I need to divide both sides by 0.3. Because what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side. 0.24 divided by 0.3 is in fact 0.8. So I'll get t is equal to 0.8. Okay, one last round here. Let's solve for an improper fraction. Also, you'll see that my two sides are switched around. But we don't do anything different. We just do the same thing. So I divide both sides by whatever's attached to the x. My 4's will cancel, and I'll be left with x is equal to 45 over 4. Since this is an improper fraction, let's see if I can reduce it all. Can I reduce it cleanly? No, I can't. So I'm done. Go ahead and pause the video and try this last one on your own. Okay, now that you've done it on your own, let's do it together. So, I need to divide both sides by 3. And when I do that, I'll get 50/3 is equal to f. And since it's an improper fraction and I can't reduce it anymore, I'm done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.